My dying wish is for my funeral to be a celebration of who I was and how I related to and interacted with you all, my loved ones, my family, and those who I was fortunate enough to call my friends. I cannot express enough gratitude of how much each of you interacted in those parts of my life that you did as I progressed on my life journey. Those who were close to me will understand that, while others, I can only seek forgiveness if I offended anyone during my time with you. I wish to acknowledge those many people who became close friends and companions during my journey, without singling out any particular names, for I am sure to miss someone. However, I am sure that you know whom you are and the importance you played on my journey. The many conversations I have had over the years and all I have tried to express my sincerity and affection to the people who I have had the pleasure to call real friends. I can recall a work colleague once telling me that his father once told him a story about life. If when you are nearing the end and you reflect back, look on your hand and count how many fingers represent those a good life. When he told me that analogy at the time, I knew it was right enough to have people who I believe fell into that scenario. For most of my life, I tried to give my all as I tried to be in the service of others because people have always interested me and I befriended many. I love to hear the individual stories that people had experienced on their own life journey. I always tried to share my own stories that they could relate to. I tried to see and promote a positive attitude in people, to help them identify and realize their own potential, and to see the positives in life as well as trying to promote self-esteem. I love to hear a humane story, especially triumphant successes. I enjoyed a joke, as humor was a constant part of me, even if it wasn't always shown. I would like to share with you my dreams and aspirations that were my life. In the following paragraphs, I hope to highlight some of them as I reveal that innermost part of me. I want to pass over and travel to the other side with music of my choice accompanying me, and hopefully my spirit will soar in those sounds that we all once shared together. The entrance song of my cremation that I would like to be played is Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. Always a classic, it was always our song as we chose it, me and Sandra, as we chose it way back all those years ago for our wedding song. It has been that song always, a lovely memory for our beginning and continual life together in our marriage that endured all those years. It always reminded me our bond of love and the vows we made before our journey in marriage began. When I hear the tune being played, it always meant so much to me.
Thank you, darling. I did on many occasions when driving along alone shed a tear as it stirred my emotions, as it evoked that happy day in 1977 in Chatswood. We danced at both our daughters' weddings to that same haunting sound that we had chosen, for it was and always be our song. The other song I would like to have played is called Forever Young. When I heard it, its lyrics by a youth group, it spoke volumes of my own journey. Often referred to as Peter Pan, some said I never grew up. I always tried to be young at heart, and in doing so surround myself with likewise people. The final song I wish to have played to send me off is Stairway to Heaven. It was my trademark calling song in my own youth and a signature song of who I used to be in my younger times. My conclusion must end with the sounds of the massed pipe bands as heard every year in the military tattoo, in where my original roots began in Edinburgh, Scotland. My personal reflections. I believe that in life there is a plan for us all in some way or another. Fate awaits the brave of heart. Those who make a decision when a crossroads beckons are the ones who will travel the furthest to seek a reward for their efforts. Looking back, I can see the many crossroads that I was confronted with, and I know that my decisions in general were the correct ones. Having now reached my twilight years, I have thought about what I have done and where I have been. The journey of my life is about the peaks and valleys that were always a part of what I faced as I travelled my road. There are some of the questions I have asked myself as I reflect back on my full life and sometimes colourful one. If I could, would I have changed anything? I suppose looking back, the mistakes that I made, the things that I said at certain times with regret, could I suppose relate to being part of life's experiences. So that if I had changed them at the time, perhaps it would, or maybe not, have made a difference to the person whom I became, both positive and negative. I think that the bed I made for myself is one I laid in and have walked with for a long time. And so I changed anything, then it may not have worked out the way it did. What did I learn from them or not? I would like to think that I did learn from my mistakes and hopefully corrected or didn't make the same mistakes again. That I'm here now, having written my autobiography, my story is suppose one positive in that something I did was right, and I made a correct decision. Would I have done anything different, and if so, why? Some things, yes. The times that I made people distance themselves from me and unforgiving of my faults, my perfectionist approach in my work, and also contributed to my downfall when I had a breakdown in my career. I had a personal goal at work of setting the bar high and then raising it higher far too soon. One saying that I can remember being told by a friend called Max was to stop and smell the roses, something that I often didn't do enough. You're up, Renee.
What were my achievements and what did I learn in this life? My main achievement was always to have a long and happy marriage, to have a loving family and to live a healthy life, without too much hassle. I think Sandra and I both achieved one unique thing together in raising our two beautiful daughters that we could be proud of.
Yeah, give it to your sister.
My achievement of serving for my original country in the Royal Navy and then moving to the new country, starting and having a successful new life. I learned from this life to try and be the friend and companion to those who sought me out, to experience in others' hopes and dreams and to affirm them whenever I had the opportunity. Were life lessons beneficial or did they impede on what I wanted to do or rather than what I expected to do? The lessons I learned on my life's path were always beneficial, whether good or bad, what I interpreted as important and my own expectations of what I wanted. The main lesson that I learned was to open and listen to what others around you have to say, to see things from another point of view, to be a friend and offer support when needed and to have standards and morals that within my capacity. Trying not to hold a grudge against those who were difficult, although at times was hard to do, as I understood the message of karma should always be heeded. Conclusion. Lots of questions to ask myself, however all of them relevant now I have reached my twilight years. The one aspect in my entire journey through life was I tried to give something of myself to many. I tried to be fair and understanding of people's needs. Those close to me, along with those who knew me well enough, would probably say I sacrificed a lot for family, and I tried to be a good friend to all. Then again, my enemies, I hope not too many, would have another story to tell. But that's life, you can't please everyone all the time. I did try and stand up for the underdog, and I respected those who, like myself, had a positive work ethic. But most of all, I would like to think I was a sincere and caring person. I always looked to find the good in people and to try and promote their positives. I tried to encourage and give affirmation and promote self-esteem. That was strange, really, because I didn't have much self-esteem myself growing up during my early years. Growing up in this underprivileged environment that I did, my inferiority complex was fairly evident as a young person. And even when joining the Navy, I was still somewhat shy outside of the pack and gang mentality. Holding your head up high wasn't something I did for the fear of intimidation for our family background was. I know it was a constant reminder for my mother raising me as her illegitimate son. Later in life, my goals and aspirations were just being the best husband, a caring father and parent that I could be. A decision that once I made to ensure it would be fulfilled.
I don't know whether I can read it. Being married to Sandra, my soulmate, meant living with the one person who really understood me, who loved me for who I was, who supported me and cared for me for all those years. She was my support, my wise partner. She was my companion and friend, not just my wife. She was my fulfillment. The one aspect of any person who walks this life is the knowledge that you are appreciated, accepted for who you are, to be loved amid all your faults, and that you have is what relationships are built on. That's what Sandra did. Thanks, babe. Having family that you can be proud of, raising them and seeing their own families develop was gratifying. Knowing it is an extension of what you tried to implement as parents was so rewarding. Grandchildren are the ultimate pleasure in the cycle of life. Unfortunately, I never had that opportunity of being a grandchild in my own life. But I know how important a part Sandra played in helping to raise Jordan and Chloe, and to a lesser extent Ashley and Shay. Having beautiful grandchildren and each with a personality and talent of their own was so rewarding for us both. I know I speak for Sandra too when I say that our wish for all our grandchildren would be to grow up and have a happy and enjoyable life with dreams fulfilled. He's tickling my neck. And fulfilled the wishes granted. To reflect on one's upbringing will, in some cases, determine the type of person you could become. Positive grounding at this time, whether strong or not, is essential for the springboard of the rest of your life. But now it may seem, by now it may seem that I have rambled on too long. Oh, hallelujah. However, those who know me will understand this was always my way. Now I have a captive audience, suckers. I want to leave you with this parting thought. It was not perfect, and I lived my life to its fullest. However, I never once intentionally inflicted pain or hurt on anyone. If you believe that for me, let me pass over forgiven, then I am happy for that. I thank God for my life, and especially for those of you who are here to farewell me. Let this be a celebration of my life, a happy memory for you all. Remember me for what I meant to each of you. Whatever it meant, it was a special time that we shared during our walk, and the wonderful thing is that we had special times together. I was blessed to have a supportive family and also being able to meet so many beautiful people along the journey. Some who I came to love deeply, as you were part of who I was and became. Goodbye to you all. Perhaps we may meet again on the other side or in another life. Peter.
He's lucky he didn't write one for each of you.
I just want to say thank you for everyone who's here.
And we know you all loved him just like we do, and if there's anything you want to say, please feel free.
I just want to say how good a dad he was. He was so funny, it doesn't make sense when I'm crying. He always played tricks on us. The one that... No. He used to take us to school on the odd occasion he wasn't at work. And he'd drive right into the school through all the kids beeping and be screaming, "I love you," and making us kiss him goodbye. And if he wasn't doing that, he was frightening Mum with something scary, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was quite a trickster, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was high school, by the way, too.
Primary school was... We were just...
What social life? He scared everyone off.
Primary school was just... He'd come and pick you up in the Timbermark or Mallinson's truck, and he was the coolest dad ever. High school, not so much. But he was the most...
The boys that came through our front door had to be extra special.
He was just the most caring, loving and supportive dad. Everything I did, he was in the front row. he was there supporting me, and I did lots of different netball, army cadets. He always was the first face that I saw when I was there. He was always supportive.
We're all gonna miss him, darling.
But thank you all for making an effort. I'd be really pleased.
You sure would. Can you hear him? I can hear him stomping around.
But yeah, thanks guys. If anyone wants to say anything, feel free.
That's right. Right, good boy. Come on, you've all known him for years and years and years. Where's all the funny stories?
You don't have to stand up.
No, we're listening.
Hey, Pete was a pretty big part of my life. He sort of let me in and marry his daughter and have a couple of kids, and he's a good dude. I said two names and I figured out what Pete's initials were, and it's basically Peter Phillips, and he was a people person. He was always interested in what every single person did, and he'd probably go, "Well, I don't understand that," so I'd ask a lot of questions. He was always interested in each individual, and I was quite impressed by that. I actually took it on. If you ask a lot of questions, you learn a lot of answers. But I was fortunate enough to have a good chat with Pete like in the last little bit, and he put a lot of emphasis on wanting everybody to celebrate his life today. Okay, so I think the biggest thing that anyone could do today is probably shock Sandra with a story that she doesn't know about yet.
She might not like that.
They couldn't tell me anything I haven't heard before.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, just everybody, that's what it's all about today, is everybody's going to miss him in some way or form, and it's really good to see everybody turn up, and it's very much appreciated by everybody in the family.
I'm going to make sure everyone has a port
There's a
to
compulsory,
toast him today.
There's a compulsory
Because I couldn't
port
find any
assignment
rum.
on the way in.
I want it. Getting a
Everybody have a
drink.
good time.
Just want to say, it just shows what type of person Pete was. That we're all here, and we all loved him so much. And despite the fact that I didn't see him very often, he was a really special person. And I loved going down to see him at Darlington Park when I came back from the UK. And he always had a good long time for me to sit and chat and talk about the UK. So I'm gonna miss him.
Thank you, Kirsty.
I started working with Pete when I was 17. Never forget him. Over half my life, pretty much a better father than my own. And him yelling from the top of the building at Timmermark, Dunford, always in trouble. But that Pommy accent echoing through all the buildings, through the whole place, I'll never forget. So, top guy.
I've known Peter since I was 17. Pete was about 30. He'd come out of the Navy, and he introduced me to the pub culture at 18. We'd get a skinful on Thursday night and catch the bus home. I was never driving. And later on, we'd go to the British Ex-Services Club on Friday night. This was before the ladies came along. Worked with Peter for probably 12, 13 years. When Auntie and I got married, we moved to Queensland, and Pete followed us up here with Sandra and the family. So he's been a key part of our life pretty much all the way through. So we know what a great guy he was. He could be scary.
At least you were 18 when he dragged you.
Yeah. He could be scary to some people. I don't know if I should recall the time he punched a policeman out.
So stories were
But he did. And And yeah, it was quite a ride. And I think what Pete said in his words there that were read out are very true. Appreciated people and really wanted to know about where they came from and who they were. And yeah, so whilst in the face of things, people might not have approached him because they thought he was a bit scary, but he was a real soft guy. Yeah, so we love him very much.
Oh, Joy, you're a grandmother.
I dragged him in, Don. He spotted me out of all you guys.
Yeah.
It's because you're about the same height.
That's all good. I've been a sticky dinner before. It was yummy, wasn't it, Bunny? I wore it all. You wore it all. Are you finished?
How you doing in there, huh?
Yes, Glenn?
I would like to just to acknowledge my brother Len and his wife Elise can't be here today, but and I can't speak that I know the whole way that Len and Elise met Pete, but I know that my brother was a goody two-shoes and he used to go to school, high school, and then he went to uni. And then he realised that what he was doing at uni wasn't really what he wanted to do. And actually I think part of the uni was that he had to go and work on a work site. And on this work site, if I could just describe Lenny, a little bit like Steve, long, blondish hair, pretty boy. Surfy dude. Sorry, Len. Anyway, on this work site, I think there was a lot of toughies, a lot of union issues and stuff going. And he met. Were you there too, Steve?
Yeah, we worked on the same side.
Yes, and Pete was there and took you guys under his wing, and that was the start of a very close relationship with Steve and all of the group and Len. And my first introduction to Peter, that Lenny only just reminded me of this the other day. He said, "Do you remember when you first met Pete?" I said, "Well, it was a New Year's Eve party. It was one of the first New Year's Eve parties that we had as a group up at my little place up in Port Macquarie. And I came home from work to find a body on the front lawn, flaked out, with not a lot of clothes on, just flaked out. It was New Year's Eve, the start of New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to Pete. It was Pete the Pom lying on the grass, and we had to get him. Yeah. So.
Because he knew I was put up a fight.
And the other thing I remember really well was then. This is in Port Macquarie too, and we wanted to go to the RSL club for dinner. And Pete had long hair, so I was a hairdresser. So I spent the afternoon curling his hair up and pinning it up, so his hair wouldn't be reaching his collar, so that he could walk into the RSL club. So,
No, I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah,
Your hair couldn't reach the collar to get into an RSL. That's true.
Yeah.
That was a rule.
Yeah, so love you, Pete. I know you're here, and thank you for all you've given to us and to our group. The leadership has been, and will still affect us, is amazing. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Gwen. I could sit in the middle.
Oh, cool, cool. And, you know, only during the night we had to pin it up a bit more.
Oh,
Yeah.
How you doing, huh?
Russell, you can go to get that display up.
Jace, can you move a bit faster, maybe?
Miss Mario?
You walk straight past us over here, come on.
No, because Names wanted the special ones before for you.
The arsenic ones.
The arsenic one.
That's for Mario.
Don't be like that.
Oh, don't put the pressure.
No.
We need more.
Everyone got one?
Who hasn't got one?
Who's going to do the toast? Do you want me to do the toast?
Jason's in the toilet. Oh. Renee, come and fix him.
Russell doesn't have one. Russell doesn't want one.
I've been taking the video.
Oh, this one. I'll grab one.
Pick one, yes.
I'll grab one for Russell then.
Wait for Jason.
There's a little shelf there.
Yes.
Have we got any bagpipes on there, Renee?
Bagpipes.
We've all got a
Come on. Dial up the bagpipes. Dial up the bag. Oh, here we go.
Sorry, I'll come outside. Go, Mum, you do the toast.
You want me to do the toast? With the pig? We listen to this song a fair bit, especially when we're in England. Especially on the River Mersey for some reason, it meant something extra special to us. So that's why we're playing it. I want some bagpipes now on that one. Oh shit, what do I say?
We always used to sing this when he was drunk. And the words are fitting for us today. Walk on. Yeah. You'll never walk alone. Yeah.
Surprised we didn't have Sweet Chariot playing.
Swing low.
Swing high.
Here's to you, babe.
Here's to you, Pete.
46 years. Blow me away.
Yeah.
What a legend.
Here, babe. Alright, sweet. Baby,
Do the jig. Can't help yourself.
No, I had last week. I had last week. I had Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hey?
On his turn.